Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday to you all. Today is December 5th today, and it would be the 16th of Four Yule in the Shire Reckoning calendar. Um, on a personal note, am very tired. I was up very late last night, and quite frequently throughout the night with my baby. Um, I did not have a good time last night, and to be honest, almost canceled the stream this morning. But I just thought, I'll jump on stream, and I'll have a chill talk with some folks, and if I end up sounding tired, and if end up making no sense, then it no harm, no foul. You guys, I'm sure will still support me through my tired ramblings. Um, all right, so let's get started this morning with your Today in Tolkien. I don't actually have a whole lot for you guys today. As always, Frodo and Sam are resting in Rivendell at this day in Arda. Um, I think that they actually end up departing Arda, or sorry, not Arda. They end up departing Rivendell, I think on Christmas Day, December 25th, which in the Shire Reckoning calendar is not Christmas isn't a thing, but they do have Yule, which is its own holiday, and they celebrate Yule over a course of multiple days uh, in the Shire. But we're still going to see Frodo and Sam, quote unquote, resting in Rivendell for a while here. Um, but on Earth, there's a few things. So we had three different people from the Tolkien universe, um, from various medias born on this day, including actor Odo Preminger, who was the voice of Thranduil in the animated version of The Hobbit. As well, actor Christopher Guard was born, and he voiced Frodo in the 1978 film of The Lord of the Rings. And then in 1985, we actually have an artist that was born, and I'm going to butcher this name, uh, Matej Kadil. They're a Czech artist and graphic designer from the Czech Republic, um, who created numerous illustrations inspired by Tolkien's Legendarium. And he mostly does locations or characters which are not very well known or often illustrated. So three different Tolkien related people born this day. Um, on this day in 1964, the ninth episode of the Princess serialization of The Hobbit was published. And then in 2002, The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, premiered in New York City. So that is your Today in Tolkien. Nice, short, and sweet, which is not always the case with this segment. Moving on to your quote of the day. So we did Unfinished Tales yesterday. A quote from Unfinished Tales yesterday, I should say. So let's see. Let's go to the Lays of Beleriand. Um, so this is from the History of Middle Earth. Um, small quote. Behold, the hope of Elvenland, the fire of Feanor, light of morn, before the sun and moon were born. Thus out of bondage came at last, from iron to mortal hand it passed. That's kind of a cool. I think that's actually a poem, actually. The Lays of Beleriand. It is this one. Let's see. There's some poems. So this book includes 5 poems that Tolkien began to write shortly after the Book of the Lost Tales phase. Only 2 of them were continued beyond the beginning. The Lay of the Children of Hurin and the Lay of Lethien. The latter being the longest poem Tolkien ever composed, although he didn't finish it. So this one that I just read here, is just a small beginning of a poem, basically. The Lays of Beleriand. All right. D&D discussions. So I actually wanted to go into something that maybe you've heard of if you're up and up on the D&D world. I know that quite a few people in the D&D world are talking about this right now, so I wanted to take some time, set aside some time to discuss it myself. The new Illrigger class. It is not very often that Dungeons and Dragons gets new classes. The last proper new class we got was probably Artificer or Blood Hunter. You know, some people count Blood Hunter, some people don't count Blood Hunter. But we don't often get a new class itself. Illrigger is a brand new class, and it's actually a third-party class, so that's where it comes from. And it's from MCDMs. An MCDM. What is MCDM? Let's take a peek at what MCDM is. So MCDM Productions. Our goal is to turn you from someone who wants to play table RPGs into someone who wants to run them. Draw Steel. Whether you're a group of local heroes sent to investigate mysterious going-ons in the nearby haunted wood, or famous mercenaries plying and scheming in the Big Say, the MCDM RPG makes building adventures and fighting monsters fun. Interesting. Oh, excuse me. Oh yeah, so they've got a bunch of content for D&D. They've got a magazine here. Scion, Wild Companion. Okay, so they've got a little bit of stuff. It looks like they create D&D content for Dungeon Masters, stuff to help the Dungeon Master run. They've got this book of boss battles, a monster book. They've got some, looks like they've got some battle maps, kind of 3D models of maps here. So they've got a few different things. All right, so that's MCDM. So they created this Illrigger class. And this hellish companion imposes their will through tactical manipulation of the battlefield, just like the archdevils who employed them. Included in this third-party class are 5 subclasses, 8 new spells, 5 Illrigger NPCs, 2 magic items, and enough diabolical options to clog up the river Styx, all of which have been implemented in D&D Beyond's character builder. Read on to learn more about how this devilish class can command the battlefield and annihilate their foes with infernal might. Alright, so, content warning. This class has subclasses with themes that include mental manipulation, mind control, and blood magic. In addition, Illriggers are often evil-aligned characters or serve creatures with an evil agenda. Speak to your table about these themes at Session 0 to ensure that everyone is comfortable engaging with these serious topics. We've got a cat already. Alright, so, preface, this might get possibly triggering depending on your comfort levels. So, what is the Illrigger class? An Illrigger is an elite soldier of hell seeking to further the infernal agenda of the treacherous and power-hungry archdevils. Illriggers wear many masks. They are knights and battlefield commanders, mages and political advisors, and even assassins and spy masters. We are familiar with Illrigger-type characters from fiction. Think of Sauron as Morgoth's Illrigger, or Darth Vader as Emperor Palpatine's. Alright. So Sauron. Okay. So how on par we're making a Sauron character. On this, a Lord of the Rings stream. Alright. An evil-ish class. Being servants of Hell's Order of Desolation certainly has some implications. If you're traveling with a good-aligned party, you may have to do some mental gymnastics to explain how your party's goals further Hell's agenda. You could be an Illrigger on the run from your order, which is why you found common ground with your adventuring comrades. Or you could be facing an enemy that even Hell wants to defeat. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, after all. Okay, so it's hard to align an evil character with a good party. I've seen it happen before, where you have evil and good characters working together, but a lot of the time you're going to end up with a divide at a pivotal point in the story. When things matter. When things matter is when you get to see how those alignments change. And some players don't play into their alignments very much. Some of them, they just do whatever they as the player feel is necessary. But definitely something to keep in mind if you're deciding to play this class. I kind of wonder, so they had said, they were employed by archdevils, which is, it's not quite a patron, a warlock patron. It's not quite, well, obviously it's not bloodlines like a sorcerer. So as the employer, I wonder if there's some opportunities as the employer to maybe corrupt the player. Like maybe the player made this deal for a good reason. Maybe, they were trying to get out of a bad situation, and in order to gain, something that the player wanted, they had to agree to be employed by these archdevils. I could see that working. I think it's important though that we note that these are archdevils. These aren't demons. Because there's a really big difference between how devils and how demons play. Demons are chaos incarnate. Devils are law abiding in a way, or order abiding, I guess is a better way to put it. Mix of martial masteries. Illriggers are a unique blend of martial and magic, meshing classic weapon fighting with powers that feel truly hellish. They can either use strength to slash through foes with melee weapons, or dexterity to nimbly defeat enemies with finesse or ranged weapons. Their Architect of Ruin subclass makes spellcasting available to the class, turning them into an anti-paladin or Eldritch Knight type build. Anti-paladin, okay. Ooh, I like that. I like an anti-paladin. And the reason I like an anti-paladin is because I like paladins. I think of all classes, I idolize the paladin the most. And it's probably because in real life, my husband is basically a paladin. He's very paladin-esque, paladin energy, hardcore. So, a anti-paladin immediately piques my interest. Subclasses for every occasion. Each Illrigger subclass allows you to specialize in your preferred type of play. When you think of a top-tier agent of hell, do you think of an assassin that stalks the shadows, a corrupt vizier, or a terrifying warrior with an even more terrifying axe? Depending on which subclass you choose, the Illrigger can have totally different playstyles. Painkillers are battlefield tanks. Oh, that's the subclass name. Okay, Painkiller. Are battlefield tanks, whereas Shadow Masters function similarly to rogues. It's worth checking which Illrigger subclass you'll want to strive towards before building your character, as you'll want to tailor your options to your preferred playstyle. I think that they said there were 8 subclasses? 6 or 8? Let's see, we've got Architect of Ruin, Health Speaker, Painkiller, Sanguine Knight, and Shadow Master. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so only 5. I don't know where I got the 8 from. Oh, 8 new spells, that's where I got it from. Alright, how is the Illrigger unique? The Illrigger's gameplay loop focuses on seals, which they gain with their level 1 Baleful Interduct feature. Ooh. Let's... There we go. Had to update this. All right. How is the Illrigger unique? The Illrigger gameplay loop focuses on seals, which they gain with their level 1 Baleful Interduct feature. These seals are kind of like the Illrigger spell slots, as expending them can damage creatures, imposing debilitating effects on enemies, or buff you and your allies. Many of the Illrigger's features and subclass features center around these seals, but that's not the Illrigger's only unique aspect. They also gain access to interdict boons, which are similar to the Warlock's Eldritch invocations. You pick which of these modular boons you'd like for your Illrigger from an extensive list, and they offer a variety of passive and activated abilities. Already this is sounding a little overpowered. It might not be too bad when we actually get into the meat and potatoes of this class and its subclasses, but there's a lot of stuff going on, and it's really cool. But I'm worried that it might outshine some of the other classes. Illriggers allow for a high degree of customization thanks to their customizable loadout of interdict boons and varying subclasses, ensuring that no two Illriggers are ever quite the same. Below we cover the key features of the Illrigger class, highlighting what you need to know before signing your infernal contract with this diabolical champion. Note, features that are shared with other classes, such as ability score improvement and extra attack, are skipped over in favor of more coverage for the Illrigger's unique abilities. Okay, so it gets extra attack. It's a martial. Or a half martial? Is that a thing? Alright, interdict DC. When a feature requires a saving throw, the saving throw DC for these effects uses your interdict save DC, which is calculated as follows. 8 plus proficiency bonus plus charisma modifier. Okay, so you want to prioritize charisma. Okay, so it is a paladin. It's basically a paladin because you're going to either do strength or dex as your attack. You're gonna make sure your charisma is high for these interdict features, and you're going to want to make sure your con's up because you're going to need con as a martial. All right. Baleful Interdict. At level 1, you can place a magical seal on a creature within 30 feet of you once per turn, either by hitting the creature with an attack or using a bonus action. When the target takes damage from a source other than a seal burned by an Illrigger, when a target takes damage from a source other than a seal burned by an Illrigger, you can burn any number of your seals placed on the creature to deal an additional 1d6 fire or necrotic damage per seal. You have a limited number of seals based on your Illrigger level, but you regain them all on a short or long rest. The damage of each seal increases by 1d6 at levels 5, 11, and 20. Okay, so it's probably 1d6, 2d6, 3d6. 4d6 at level 20 is kind of meh. But I guess it's per seal, and you gain more seals as you level up, so maybe it isn't that bad. That first line there, place a magical seal on a creature within 30 feet of you once per turn, either by hitting the creature with an attack or using a bonus action. So does that mean you can just use your bonus action to place the seal regardless if you hit them? I wonder that. Like, there's no like AC to beat or save DC or anything, you just boom, you hit it. So I can see this probably going off as, I attack. If both of them miss, then I use a bonus action. All right. But interestingly, it's once per turn. So you could theoretically do it with an opportunity attack to place a seal on someone outside of your turn. Okay. I like it so far. Forked tongue. Illriggers must often be capable spies, negotiators, and blackmailers, which is tough to pull off if you don't speak the same language as your marks. The forked tongue feature is also gained at level 1 and allows you to speak, read, and write Infernal and speak 2 other languages of your choice. You can swap one of these languages, when you finish a long rest, so you can prepare Dwarvish before delving underground or Sylvan before stepping into the Feywild. At level 9, you gain another language, and you gain advantage on insight checks made to ascertain the intentions or sincerity of creatures. Oh. So at level 9, you gain advantage on insight. I actually like that they allow you to swap out a language for a long rest, or on a long rest. Because as a DM, it's really, really limiting when your characters don't have a lot of languages available to them. And sometimes, based on the story you're trying to tell, you don't necessarily want to modify the languages just because it's a language that the players can actually speak. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense. So I actually kind of like this feature. It kind of reminds me of Knowledge Cleric in a way. It seems very, very Knowledge Cleric-esque. All right. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry, guys. I'm very, very tired. The coffee is black this morning because I'm out of creamer. And it's does not feel strong enough at all. I think I need like espresso. Actually, saying that out loud, it would have been awesome to do up some espresso. Because I don't usually drink my coffee black like this. All right, moving on to level 2. So already our Illrigger is powerful at level 1. At level 2, you gain 1 of 5 combat mastery options, such as Bravado, which allows you to calculate your AC when you're not wearing any armor as 10 plus Dex plus Charisma, or Inexorable, which provides you a +1 bonus to saving throws for each hostile creature within 5 feet of you to a max of +5. Oh. Inexorable. That's powerful. And that's really powerful. Because if you stick it in like a... Oh, goodness. That's kind of cool. Let's see. 1 of 5 combat mastery options. So let's see if I can... Oh, yeah, it won't allow me to look at the combat mastery stuff. I haven't purchased this. I'm just on the 101 guide for Illrigger, so I don't have access to all of the cool things that it can do yet. Maybe I might end up paying for it because it's... Let's see. On D&D Beyond, the Illrigger class is $14.99, so $15 Canadian bucks. That's probably like, I don't know, $10 American, $12 American. It's not that bad. Don't get me wrong, I still don't want to spend $15 if I don't have to, but we will see. If I you know what I'll probably end up doing is if I end up running either a D&D campaign or becoming a new player in a new D&D 5e campaign, um, I might end up purchasing this just to take a peek at it. Um, 'Cause I really like the flavor so far. Um, I think I could get around the evil thing. I think that if I just, um, made it that I had to had to become employed in order to, save my family, or maybe I needed these archdevils to step in to stop something from happening. Um, there's a few different things I could do with that. Stay asleep, baby. Oh goodness, you guys, this is gonna be a very long day. Very, very long day. He is not sleeping good at all. Oh, all right. All right, so combat mastery, you basically get um, you get unarmored defense, but paladin unarmored defense, and a really powerful bonus to saving throws. I wonder if you can swap out your combat mastery. Um, like I wonder if it's like once per long rest, or even on level up. Oh, excuse me. I wonder if you can switch on like a level up. I think a level up would be um, a good medium ground, good middle ground. Interdiction. Uh, so already we've got a few different things. We've got the seals, this combat mastery, and then interdict boons. So there's some complicated aspects to this. I definitely wouldn't recommend this for someone who's just starting out with D&D. Um, I don't think it would be. I feel like it would be very complicated to keep track of all this stuff. Interdict boons are magical enhancements that your Illrigger starts receiving at level 2. Some interdict boons are passive bonuses. Some activate when you burn a seal that you have placed on an enemy, and others allow you to expend a seal to fuel a magical effect. For example, the Soul Eater interdict boon grants you temporary hit points equal to your Illrigger level when you burn a seal on an interdicted creature. I wonder if that. Oh yeah, so it probably just like flavors as yeah, Soul Eater. It flavors it as, you cause um you cause damage over there and you absorb some of it over here. Equal to your Illrigger level is okay, I guess. Character level is at low levels. This is pretty lackluster, because at level 2, if I gain 2 temp HP, to be honest with you, it's almost not even worth tracking at that point. But once you get up to levels where it starts to make a difference, you know, that HP is a drop in the bucket. Because, like, I'm thinking, like, level 10, if you gain 10 temp HP, level 10 character, um, like, I know some level 10 characters who are, like, 110, 120 HP. So 10 HP, 10 temp HP is going to be burnt through fast. On the other hand, the Shadow Shroud interdict boon allows you to expend a seal that has not been placed on an enemy to bestow yourself or a creature you touch with a +2 bonus to AC for 1 minute. Interesting. Okay. Shadow Shroud. I wonder if that's a concentration thing or if it just happens. Excuse me. If you select an interdict boon that isn't synergizing with your playstyle as much as you'd hoped, you can swap one out every time you level up in this class. You also learn more interdict boons as you level up, according to the interdict boons column in the Illrigger table. Now, I bet you any money that I can't see this. Yeah, no, I can't see the table. That's okay. All right, moving on to level 3. Diabolical Contract. At level 3, it's time to write your name in blood. That feels very packed, Warlock pact to me. Select which archdevil best suits your inner sins and pledge your soul to an agent of hell. Normal hero stuff. When signing a diabolical contract, you select a subclass that best suits your playstyle and power fantasy. Will you be a cunning battle mage, an enchanting diplomat, an imposing knight and commander, a blood mage, or a stealthy assassin? Interesting. I like the idea of the enchanting diplomat one. What it reminds me of, so right now I'm reading through the Wheel of Time series. It kind of reminds me of the Forsaken from that. Positioning them in seats of power throughout the continent, in various countries and that kind of stuff. That'd be kind of cool to play. I'm not charming enough personally. I don't think to play that kind of thing, but it'd still be cool. Invoke Hell. At level 3, an Illrigger can summon the power of hell and use it to produce certain powerful effects. The Diabolic Contract subclass you selected will detail 2 Invoke Hell options that you can select from when using this ability. Once you invoke hell, you must finish a short or long rest before you can do it again. just take a quick, hour-long coffee break before you can summon the powers of hell. Expect these features to lean into your chosen subclass's specialties, amplifying your Architect of Ruins magic, your Painkiller's damage output, and so forth. So it's kind of a rage, basically. It adds to the damage, possibly. All right, Infernal Conduit. Yeah, there's a lot going on in this class. I mean, it's really cool. Don't get me wrong, but it's a lot. I would be hard pressed to find any new player who should play something like this. All right. Infernal Conduit. At 6th level, Infernal Conduit allows you to drain hit points from an enemy and give them to yourself, or you can give your own hit points to an ally. Using this feature, you touch a creature, expend Infernal Conduit dice from your pool, and roll them. If you choose the Invigorate feature, the target regains hit points equal to the total you rolled, and you take necrotic damage equal to the hit points gained. The target has a chance to save against this effect, though that might not be in their best interest if they want the hit points, so they can choose to fail. Okay. If you choose the Devour option, the target must make a saving throw and takes necrotic damage equal to the total you rolled on a failed save, or half as much on a successful save, and you regain hit points equal to the damage inflicted. The necrotic damage from this feature can't be reduced in any way, so it's very useful against creatures with resistance or immunity to necrotic damage. That's powerful. Okay, so this reminds me. So I currently play a scribe wizard in a campaign, and it's a great campaign. We've been going for I don't know, maybe 2 years, I want to say, or a year and a half. No, it has to be 2 years. It has to be 2 years. So we've been going for a while in this campaign, and the DM's awesome, and he uses these homebrewed features or feats for us to select from, and Initially, I wanted to play a evocation wizard, and because of the party makeup at the time, decided against it and made my scribes wizard instead. But I still wanted to be a damagey wizard. I didn't want to be a battle control wizard. I still do like some control stuff, but for the most part, I focus on damage. And one of the features I have, it's actually a 2-part feature, so I had to get one feature in order to meet the prerequisite for the second feature. But the second feature allows me to ignore resistance and immunities to a specific for creatures for a specific school of magic. So of course I chose evocation because I wanted to be the damagey wizard. So we're fighting in this demon campaign, and all these demons have either resistance or immunity to fire damage. But because of my feature, they just treat as regular damage. So my wizard just burns demons to death with things like fireball and that. But it is powerful. Holy man, is it powerful. Because here's the thing. For those of you that are not aware, when you're making a stat block, resistance and immunities are taken into account when you're calculating the defensive challenge rating of a creature stat block. And there's basically two things. There's the offensive CR and the defensive CR. And if you have a particularly high defensive CR, you can get that creature to come down a little bit to a more reasonable CR level if you have a fairly low offensive CR. It isn't a complete, you can't just say like, oh, I'm going to have a offensive CR of 20 but a defensive CR of 1 so that I can get at like a CR 10. That's not how it works. It isn't a divide down the middle type thing, but you can bring it down a little bit by making it really, really weak in one of those two areas. But when you're calculating that defensive CR, resistance and immunity count for that. And the way the way I've been taught how it's calculated, mind you, I am not a expert on homebrew at all, but I have homebrewed some things in the past. And the way it's calculated, or how I was taught it was calculated, is if they have three, I think it's three or more, three resistances, then or like two resistances and an immunity. I think that they're calculated as having like 1.5 times the hit points. And if they have three immunities, then it's two times the hit points, which bumps up your defensive CR. So to have something that goes through resistance and through immunity is huge. The I don't know what the Infernal Conduit dice is, but I imagine it's probably something kind of similar to like a sneak attack. So it's probably like a DC, a 1d6 or a 2d6 or something like that. But that's powerful. That's really powerful. I actually think that that's probably too powerful. That probably shouldn't be in there. All right. Blood price. We're moving on to the mid range features of this class. So blood price is a 10th level feature. Whenever you fail a saving throw, you can spend one of your hit dice and add it to the result of your saving throw. Oh. Illriggers have d10s for hit dice, so this ability will add an average of +5 to your roll. You'll pay for this layer during a short rest when you may need potions to make up for the hit dice spent, but it'll be worth it to succeed on a throw against something like Hypnotic Pattern or a Dragon's Breath weapon. I don't like that at all. As a DM, I do not like that. Because a D10 is a big bonus. Like when you bless someone, it's a D4. A D10 is huge. That's really, really huge. Oh, that'd be hard. That'd be so hard as the DM. Get ready, folks, to see this class banned at a bunch of tables. Or at the very least, if not banned, maybe nuked a bit. Maybe it'll be modified to be a little bit more balanced. Because right now, reading this, I'm not thinking it's the best balance. And that's the risk you run into with third-party content. It's less likely with official third-party content, but and like, homebrew stuff is completely a different level. But with third-party content, certain things are done which are a little too powerful. As much as we hate to as much as we hate on Wizards of the Coast for some of their choices, the thing is that a lot of the classes that we have available, the base class themselves, are somewhat on par with one another. Yes, they might not be, powerful in the same ways, but there are powerful elements to each of them, and weaknesses to each of them. Right now, I am not reading a whole lot of weaknesses. I know that they, say like, oh yeah, you expend a hit dice and you'll pay for this later. But here's the thing. If you add a D10 to your roll, you probably aren't going to need to spend as many hit dice, because if you use that against something like a dragon's breath weapon, um, you're mitigating a bunch of damage. And it's only going to become more powerful depending on like when you decide to do this. I assume that you can only do this like once per long rest or something like that. Actually, I don't know if that is the case, because reading it is whenever you fail a saving throw. So maybe you can just do it until you're out of hit points or hit dice. Scary. Okay. And then we've got Terrorizing Force. When you gain this feature at level 10, you choose a damage type from Cold, Fire, Necrotic, and Poison. When you hit with a weapon attack, you deal 1d8 extra damage of the chosen type. Heading into unfamiliar territory? No worries. You can change the damage type after a long rest, allowing you to skirt resistances and target vulnerabilities. So not only do they have everything else, but then they get to add a D8 to their weapon attacks. And I mean, they've got some good options, like Cold and Fire are pretty common damage types. Um, Necrotic and Poison, though, like being able to have that variety will get you around a lot of resistances, because what creature are you going to find that's immune to Cold, Fire, Necrotic, and Poison? I can't even theorize some sort of stat block that would be immune to all four of those, or even resistant. All right, going to 14th level, Superior Interdict. At level 14, the power of your seals ignores petty things like resistances to damage types. Jeez. In addition, once per long rest, you can use a bonus action to regain one seal if you have none remaining. So if you find yourself in a pinch and know that one of your interdict boons or subclass features could get you out of it, you can regain a seal and jump back into the fray. Okay. Infernal Majesty. When you gain this feature at level 17, you can don a measure of the Archdevil's power. As a bonus action, you can channel the might of hell for 10 minutes. While active, this feature gives you resistance to fire, cold, and necrotic damage. Jeez. Fire, cold, necrotic damage, a fly speed of 60 feet, and buffs your blood price and terrorizing force features. Jeez. Blood price now damages a nearby creature equal to the number you rolled on the hit dice, and your terrorizing force deals 2d8 damage instead of 1d8. You also become basically unkillable, because when you die while this feature is active, your body disappears in a burst of flame and reappears 1d6 days later somewhere in hell. You'll want to keep this feature for when it matters, though, as you can only use it once per long rest. Even once per long rest is like ridiculous. I mean, granted, it is level 17, but holy mackerel. 3 resistances, a fly speed, extra damage. What's the blood price? Blood price was, oh yeah, the hit dice for your saving throws. Oh my gosh. So not only do you gain an additional D10 to your saving throw, but you damage a creature nearby, and you do an extra 2d8, and you're unkillable. Ay, 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 ay. This is powerful. This is a little too powerful, you guys. This is next level. All right, and then finally we've got level 20, Master of Hell. At level 20, you burn with infernal power, able to rip through reality and show the world a glimpse of hell. As an action, you summon a hellstorm, filling a 50-foot radius sphere centered on a point within 150 feet of you, and choose the infernal, pestilence, or darkness options. If creatures in the area of effect fail their save, they'll take 10d10 damage based on your selection and suffer from additional similarly nasty effects. On a successful save, they take half as much damage and can skirt the rider effects of the infernal and pestilence options, but the darkness option will blind creatures regardless of their saving throw. Oh, so just a free blind. Jeez. That is just the base class, you guys. That's not even getting into our subclasses. Alright. Yeah, if I allowed this at my table, I would definitely make it a little less powerful. There's some things that are just wholly outshine other classes, and I can't imagine balancing an encounter with this thing. I wonder if they made it with the 2024 rules in mind or with the 2014 rules in mind. All right. Let's go to the subclasses. So Architect of Ruin. The Architect of Ruin is Asmodeus's Illrigger, his spellcaster, spy, and saboteur. An Architect of Ruins researches their opponent's weaknesses, prepares for battle, and wins before the fight has even begun. Party roles and powers. Versatile spellcaster. A hellish spell sword who burns seals to hinder other spellcasters, deal extra damage, or impose disadvantage on a saving throw against your magic. Alright. Hellspeaker. The Hellspeakers are infernal enchanters, often turning foes against one another without them realizing they've been manipulated. Alright, so this is your that courtier one. Consider whether your Hellspeaker's approach is loud, e.g. seen at every party, sociable, known by all, and considered friend by many, or soft, seen as a cautious diplomat in public when they counsel war and betrayal in private. Master, manipulator, liar, and negotiator. Gain major bonuses to charisma checks. Control enemies and support allies. Charm and banish enemies, impose disadvantage on enemy charisma and wisdom saving throws, redirect enemy attacks against you, give allies advantage on a saving throw or attack, and protect allies from being charmed. Painkiller. Painkillers are Hell's dreadnoughts, brimming with ruthlessness, authority, and a cold, calculating hunger for victory. Painkillers lead from the front, cheat when possible, care not for the lives of their soldiers, and win at any cost. Alright, so your painkiller party roles and powers. Frontliner and damage dealer. Turn a hit into a critical hit. Oh. Restrain your foe and punish an enemy for attacking you. Okay. Immediately. So this is the anti-paladin, right? What if we made like a multi-class Illrigger painkiller with a paladin and make it like a probably Oathbreaker paladin, because I can't see Well, I guess you could be a regular paladin. You just maybe you have the deal with your god fighting with the contract with your archdevil. Um, and then you can smite. You can just, oh, I'll attack you. Okay, I'll make that critical hit, and now I'll smite you. Um, all right. Commander. Allow allies to make an attack, cast a damage dealing cantrip, or move up to half their speed without provoking op attacks. In extreme circumstances, command an ally to stay alive. Okay, that's powerful. Sanguine Knight. Sanguine Knights serve Hell's premier sorcerer, using blood magic to turn their enemies' powers into their allies' strength. By using their magic in this way, Sanguine Knights encourage Hell's soldiers to be on the offensive, making them dependent on Sanguine Knights for support. Command blood and revitalize allies. Burn seals to restore hit points, cure conditions, and distribute temp HP to your allies. Use blood magic to take power from your enemies and give it to your allies. Take power from your enemies and give it to your allies? I wonder what that's about. And then finally, Shadow Master. Oh. The Shadow Masters are Hell's spy masters, poisoners, and assassins, leaping from the darkness to fell even the greatest of foes. Their roles: Assassin. Attack interdicted creatures with advantage on the first attack per turn. Deal extra damage to interdicted creatures. Rerolls 1s and 2s on a seal and weapon damage, and become invisible or cast Disguise Self and blind your opponents. Stealthy Skirmisher. Increased speed, bonus to stealth checks, heightened dark vision. Okay, so you could just like multi-class rogue this. Give yourself advantage, and then you can roll your sneak attack and whatever bonuses you get from Shadow Master. Guys, these are powerful. All right. Build recommendations. I need a drink because I have a feeling that these are going to be powerful. All right. So first up, Architect of Ruin. Illriggers within the Architect of Ruin subclass can use their limited magic to heighten their martial prowess, trick enemies with illusions and enchantments, or control the battlefield. For spell swords, grab Mirror Image, Shield of Faith, and Haste. Tricksters may reach for Silent Image, Suggestion, and Arcanist Magic Aura. While control casters will look to spells like Darkness, Silence, and Slow. So they clearly are big on their spell casting. When selecting ability scores, you'll want to focus on Charisma first and Constitution second. If you're undecided on a species, consider those that learn a few extra spells such as elves and tieflings. When choosing a feat, you'll want to tailor it to your playstyle and party roll. Any feats that grant extra spells such as Fey Touch or Shadow Touch are welcome. But if you're casting concentration spells during most battles, you may want to look to Warcaster to preserve those precious spell slots. If you want to target enemy spellcasters, select the Mage Slayer feat to break their concentration and resist their magic. Okay, so they use their limited magic to heighten their martial prowess, trick enemies with illusions and enchantments, or control the battlefield. So I wonder. I feel like these would be half casters. Like I don't think that they would be full on casters. And clearly they use charisma as their spell casting ability. I think if I were building this, um, building an architect of ruin, I think I would probably go for a control caster, or maybe something that is more concentration spell focused. And then I think I would hang back because if I'm focusing on charisma and con, um, I don't want to be in melee range ever. And staying towards the back of the party allows me to get the most of my spells if I choose concentration spells. Um, I think I'd actually take. I'd probably. I mean, Warcaster is a good one, but I would probably take. What is that spell called? I would probably take that spell that allows you proficiency in a specific saving throw. So I know it. I just can't remember it right this moment. Where is it? I need to find it here because if I don't find it, I'm going to not resilient. Is it skilled? No, not skilled. Hmm. Oh yeah, resilient. Yeah, so you increase the chosen ability score by 1 to a maximum of 20, and you gain proficiency in saving throws using that chosen ability. So pick up resilient, make it con. Um, that bumps up your con by 1, which is always, always welcome. Um, but it also makes it more difficult to break your concentration. So bump that into that, and you're golden. Um, as for creatures, I think if I were picking a race for this, I would probably pick something with either a spider climb or a fly speed to give me an opportunity to mobilize and get out of range of anything while maintaining my concentration. So, like maybe for some reason the only thing I'm thinking about is an outland, but you could do like an Aarakocra or fairy. Um, there's a few different things that you can do with this, but I think I would choose something with a fly speed. Hell Speaker. Hell speakers can swindle, negotiate, or if that fails, enchant their way through hell's greatest dangers. You'll want to focus on charisma first, but your second priority might vary. Dexterity will ensure that you're sneaky and good with a rapier and shortbow. Constitution will keep you alive, and wisdom will help you see through your enemy's lies. You can have fun with any species, but the human's ability to gain heroic inspiration when completing a long rest never hurts. Oh, that's a 2024 thing. Let's read this because I'm not familiar with 2024. If you have heroic inspiration, you can expend it to reroll any die immediately after rolling it, and you must use the new roll. Uh, If you gain heroic inspiration but already have it, it's lost until you give it to another player, unless you give it to another player character who lacks it. Oh, so it's just inspiration. Humans gain inspiration on a long rest now? That's broken. Okay. Sorry, that's the smallest side. And Gnome's advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saving throws will help you resist enemy spells. Most health speakers are judicious and talented liars, so I recommend feats like Actor if you plan on using disguises, or Skill Expert if you just need to increase that deception bonus. Observant can also aid you in social encounters by granting expertise in insight, while Keen Mind helps you remember key information during an investigation, reconnaissance mission, or con. Any feats that grant spells such as Magic Initiative or Fey Touch can help fine-tune your Illrigger into a master manipulator. Alright, so, this is our diplomat. So if I were doing this, like I said before, I would be heavily inspired by the Wheel of Time, by the Forsaken if I were making a Hell Speaker. Um, I think I would, bump up the charisma. I think I would probably do more I'd probably do dexterity, because I feel like this subclass isn't as magic reliant as the Architect of Ruin. So I think I would choose dexterity just so I have something to fall back on for attacking. Um, how would I do this? So I would probably there is a feat. Ooh, you know what would be cool actually is if you had the poisoner feat with this. Um, like I can imagine like a someone like working through upper society, up through the courts and that kind of stuff, and just slowly like poisoning people, and it might not even be you know maybe they're not all out, just killing people outright, but maybe they're slowly making certain people sick and um, open to suggestion because of their illness. I kind of think of like Theoden from Lord of the Rings, like that level of sick. Just worm tongue in his ear, just like he is not welcome here. Yes, get rid of him. And Theoden being like, oh yeah, that sounds fine. I'm dying. Um, that'd be cool. That'd be cool to do like Poisoner with this. I think it would be very on par with the theme. Um, I mean, you could do linguist, so that you add even more languages to the existing. Uh, I think they called it Infernal Tongue or Hellish Tongue or something like that feature. Um, let's see. Hmm. I think if I were doing this, I would probably do the Poisoner. Because that seems That seems more flavorful than anything. Or the linguist. As for what I would do for a race, let's see. Uh, you know what? I could lean into like Lord of the Rings, like Anatar. Be an elf, like a fair folk kind of thing. Like, oh, obviously, an elf wouldn't betray me. That'd be kind of fun. Um, I feel like you would need to have something more, something a little bit more elegant looking. Um, because I think if you if you threw a minotaur in there, people aren't going to trust it, just naturally speaking. It has a bit more of a brutish feel to it. So I think you need to choose something elegant, like an Eladrin um, or an Asimar. Um, an Asimar would be actually kind of cool as a Hell Speaker. The implications of it. Interesting. All right, going down to Painkiller. Painkillers tend to defeat their foes the old-fashioned way, with brutal and practiced blows from their weapon. Painkillers are proficient in heavy armor, and several of their features heighten their martial prowess, making them dangerous front-line fighters. At level 14, the Painkiller can turn attacks on interdicted creatures into a critical hit by using a reaction and burning a seal on the creature. At level 18, the Painkiller can score a critical hit against all interdicted creatures on a roll of 18 through 20. Jeez, 18 through 20. So that's not just like the 19 to 20. That's a whole. But these Hell Knights are also excellent battlefield tacticians, able to use their abilities to allow allies to make attacks, move without provoking op attacks, or even drop to 1 HP instead of 0. Ooh. As a heavy hitter, you'll probably want to prioritize strength and con, with charisma third to maintain a respectable interdict save DC. Species like Dwarf or Goliath are obvious choices for their resilience and martial skill, but an Asmar could also be a thematic and exciting choice here. Feats like Crusher, Piercer, Slasher are always handy, and Sentinel perfectly fits a Hell Knight on the hunt. Alright. You have to be a multi-class paladin with this. You have to. Because you can automatically just, oh, I'm using a reaction, burning a seal, it's now a critical hit, smite. Oh, I rolled an 18 or a 19 or a 20, smite. You just have to. You have to be a paladin if you're choosing the Painkiller subclass. What would I do as a species? I feel like I would want to be something like a half orc or a oh, what would I like to be? I think I would choose like um a minotaur or even a yuan-ti. There's actually a homebrew subclass that I would love to do as a Painkiller, where you're a naga. And I think that would be kind of cool to be a naga. Um, I'm just trying to think. It'd be kind of cool to be like I can't remember the name of it. Now I had to look it up. Oops. It messes me up that things are called species now. All right, so let's see. I mean, you could be a centaur. That would be kind of cool. Druiger. That'd be neat. But I feel like there's Furbolg. No, not a Furbolg. You wouldn't want to be a Furbolg. Yeah, I think I would probably do a half-orc. Oh, a hobgoblin. Actually, no. Scratch everything. Make it a Loxodon. A Loxodon painkiller with a dip into like Oathbreaker Paladin. And I mean, Sentinel is an obvious choice. You could also choose Mobile, because Mobile would allow you to get around the battlefield. But I guess it depends on what this because it says that they can move without provoking op attacks, but is that a once per long rest kind of feature? Is that all the time? That's a good question. Mobile, I think, would be fun. Obviously, Great Weapon Master is a very good choice. I think I would actually take a Polearm Master with this. I assume that you can probably choose a fighting style with an Illrigger class. It just makes sense to me that you would choose a fighting style. If you can't choose a fighting style, I will be completely floored. But yeah, do like a Polearm Master. I think that would be a good thing. And then you increase your reach, and then you could even become like a mounted combatant. And I think if you became a mounted combatant, this would be really powerful. Yes, baby girl. All right. Sanguine Knight. The Sanguine Knight leans all the way into the support martial, using blood magic to assist your allies and bring down your enemies. You'll place seals on enemies as you attack them, and then when you burn those seals, you can grant temp HP to your fellow party members. When your barbarian friend becomes blinded, the Sanguine Knight can use blood magic to rip the condition away and impose it on someone else within 60 feet. What? Rip the condition away. So does that mean you can overcome things that are just like, oh, you have this for the next hour kind of thing? I'm curious to know how they can do that. At 15th level, the Sanguine Knight can even sap power from an enemy by imposing a 1d8 penalty to their next attack roll or saving throw, and granting that 1d8 as a bonus to an ally's next attack or saving throw. So it's basically Super Bane and Super Bless at the same time. I mean, it is 15th level, so it is up there. in the level world, but that's a lot. When assigning ability scores, I recommend considering an unusual maneuver and prioritizing Constitution first. You can't heal your allies, give them temp HP, or remove their conditions if you get knocked unconscious. And unlike other support builds, most of the Sanguine Knight's features scale with class level and proficiency bonus, not with an ability score. But if you want to put the Marshal in support Marshal, then invest in Strength or Dexterity. And if you select many interdict boons that trigger saving throws, you'll want to prioritize Charisma. Any species would make a good Sanguine Knight, but choosing the Orc species will offer a significant boost to their survivability. If you're seeing restoring hit points, boosting healing spells, and removing conditions on the battlefield, shrewd enemies are likely to target you. Feats like Tough, Resilient, and Mage Slayer can help you resist enemy efforts to bring you down, while Speedy can help you reach allies who need your help. That's a new feat, Speedy. It won't give me any information about it. I assume that it just adds to your base walking speed. Alright, so Sanguine Knight is banned at my table. I don't want to say it's banned at my table, but it's doing a lot of things. In addition to everything that the base class can do. Ripping conditions away. Oh my goodness. Alright, so if I were building a Sanguine Knight, yes, I'd prioritize the Constitution. I think that makes sense. Especially if they don't have stuff scaling with your ability score. And then I think I would probably choose Charisma as my next ability, because I think if I have enough interdict boons, I think I'm going to play with those quite a bit. What would I make with this? A Sanguine Knight. So you assist your allies and bring down your enemies. Grant temp HP. So you're basically a control caster without the cast. Control caster without the cast. I'm not very inspired by this subclass. I know some people out there will be inspired by it, but reading it off the cuff here, it doesn't like hit me as like, okay, yes, this is something I'd like to play. I think if I did decide to choose this, I think that I would play as a you know what? I would actually probably play as a Hexblood. I think I'd play as a Hexblood and make it so, you're doing blood magic and all this stuff, right? But really lean into the hag-like nature of this. And make it real creepy. I think I would make a really creepy character with this. As far as a feat's concerned, I think Tough is an obvious choice, especially if you're wanting to just stay up. I think make them tough, make them meaty. I think the only thing I might do instead of Tough is maybe I would give them like I guess it depends on the proficiencies of the Illrigger class, but I think if anything I might give them if they don't already have it, some sort of proficiency in heavy armor, just to boost up their AC. Um, yeah, yeah, we do a hex split, I think. And then finally, Shadow Master. Shadow Masters could give faceless men of Bravos and anti-Van Crows a run for their money. These Illriggers are Hell's premier assassins, spies, and scouts. Shadow Masters can become invisible, deal extra damage to their targets, use magic to prevent their marks from escaping, and shroud their enemy in darkness. You'll absolutely want to focus on dexterity for this Illrigger, with charisma a close second to talk your way out of trouble and keep your interdict save DC high. Though any species can make a deal with the devil, species like Shadar-kai, halflings, and goblins often make for great Shadow Masters. Feats like Skulker and Shadow Touch help a Shadow Master stay sneaky and unseen, while feats like Speedy and Fey Touch make a Shadow Master mobile and tough to catch. If your Shadow Master focuses a bit more on spying than assassinating, consider feats like Alert, Observant, and Telepathic. Alright, if I'm making a Shadow Master, I'm going to probably multi-class into Rogue. Because if I remember correctly, these guys allow you to impose advantage on your targets. And especially if you can become invisible, deal extra damage, prevent them from escaping, I would definitely multi-class this into Rogue so that you can add your sneak attack damage to any attacks you make with this thing. Hey, Soaring. How's it going? It's going good. I'm just reviewing the latest Illrigger class, a third-party class that was recently announced on D&D Beyond. How are you? Oh. Actually, wait, Soaring. Aren't you at the meetup with Malcolm and everything? I thought that you guys were all getting together today for partying and drinking and gaming and that kind of stuff. All right, so yeah, I definitely multi-class this into Rogue. As for what race I would play, um, I mean, Shadar Kai is a good one, but I think I would probably do some sort of. I think I would do probably either a Dragonborn or I would do a Tiefling. Um, and probably like a variant Tiefling, if anything. Um, I feel like a Tiefling would be a great Illrigger. Um, as for a feat, um, I think that telepathic would be a really cool feat with this one. Um, because with telepathic, um, you're going to be quite a bit more sneaky. So I think that's what I would do if I did a Shadow Master. All right. So that is the end of these. So, in summary, the Illrigger is an elite operative of evil sent to enact Hell's will. As an emissary of your archdevil and the Order of Desolation, your magic can pierce resistances, restrain and blind enemies, and even summon a horned devil to fight alongside your party. You also have tools to refute any paltry attempts to destroy your being. You can sap the life of creatures and strengthen your defenses at the cost of vitality, and when enemies are swarming you and all seems lost, you can use your infernal power to incinerate nearby foes and rise again. So, if you're ready to become a Knight of Hell, hop into D&D Beyond Character Builder and create your Illrigger today. You'll also find 5 stat blocks for Illrigger NPCs, 8 new spells, and 2 powerful items that any Illrigger would love to get their gauntleted fists on. Alright. In summary, Illrigger is a very powerful class. It is way more powerful than any of the other classes that we have from Wizards of the Coast. Maybe that's not a surprise to some people, as it is third-party content. It certainly isn't a surprise to me. I think that the degree of how OP this class is was a bit surprising. I thought, maybe I thought maybe Wizards of the Coast would have balanced this a little bit better. It's rough. And I think it reminds me of a homebrew class, where someone just was going all out with, oh, we can add this and we can add that and we can add this. It's really cool and really flavorful. Don't get me wrong on that. I think if anything, I would end up playing that. I think I would end up playing a painkiller with like a dip into Paladin. That's the one that to me spoke the most. But I think if I were to play this in a campaign, I think that I would work with my DM to nerf some of these abilities, because some of this is just way too much. Especially, going through resistances, going through immunities, taking off conditions, being able to impose advantage automatically. There's so much stuff to this that I think is makes it a little above and beyond what some of the other classes have going for them. Can it be played? Yes, absolutely. Can it be played as a good character? I think yes. Maybe your character struggles with their internal monologue about good versus evil, and making decisions and that kind of stuff. I will say I don't think that a brand new player should ever play this. It is, or I shouldn't say ever play it, but I think it's a very complicated class. It's got a whole lot of stuff between its interdects and its combat mastery and its boons, and then its conduits, and that's just in the base class. That's not even going into everything in the subclasses. There is a whole lot happening with these, and I think it's a little too complex for a brand new player getting into D&D. I think if your characters do look into this, maybe point them to a paladin stat block before they jump into this, because this is definitely like expert level paladin complexity. All right. So that is the end of our D&D discussions here. I actually did want to talk with you guys about something really cool. So I am a avid supporter of Foundry Virtual Tabletop. I've tried a few different virtual tabletops in the past. I'm not an expert by any means on virtual tabletops, but I have tried a variety of them. Foundry is one that I particularly like for a couple reasons. The first reason being it is not a subscription paid for service. You pay a one-time fee and you just have Foundry. You can work with Foundry after that. The stipulation being if you did want to host a regular Foundry game, there's certain things you have to do in order to host it because it comes directly from your computer. But if you didn't want to host it directly from your computer because that's dangerous, allowing people to access your computer, then you would have to host on a host server. So the Forge is a very common one for people to host their Foundry games. So with hosting on the Forge, you do have to pay a subscription for that. So that's, the give and take there. I've played on Roll20. Roll20 is good for its simplicity and its access levels. You don't need to be a paid for player in order to play at DM's table. You don't even need to be a paid for DM to host a game on Roll20. The issue with Roll20 is if you don't pay for it, you're going to get ads. It lacks in certain features, and it is not very customizable. It's definitely a simpler virtual tabletop if your players are just getting into a virtual tabletop situation. But there's not a lot of customization available. Alternatively, I've seen people host games in Tabletop Simulator. So Tabletop Simulator is bad in a different way. It's actually more complicated, I feel, because there's so much you have to set up inside the virtual tabletop in order to make the game run how you want. The other thing, too, is that virtual tabletop takes a whole lot out of your computer's ability to process things. It requires a high amount of memory, CPU power. Like, there's so much going with virtual tabletop. The cool thing is you can do minis and that kind of stuff, and it's like you're playing in real life, but I would almost guarantee that most of your players are going to lack the computer power in order to support a game completely on Tabletop Simulator. Foundry allows you to customize the system. That's not up everyone's alley. Not everyone is going to like to customize everything about their system. Some people might get overwhelmed by the customization options available to them in the Foundry system. I love it. I like being able to focus on something for hours, just a small little detail, and go through and figure out coding for it or figure out modules for it in order to make something work how I perceive it as how I envisioned it working in my mind. That's why I really like about Foundry. Um, it's does require a little bit of computer performance in order to get it working, because there is a lot of assets. But I would say it requires less than Tabletop Simulator, depending obviously on what you decide to set up as the game master. Um, but yeah, so Foundry is a really great system, a really great virtual tabletop. And the thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is Foundry has been talking for a very long time about this new system um, called Ember. Um, and Ember is, how do I describe Ember? Let's see how they describe Ember. So it's its own game, and if I remember correctly, it uses the D&D 5e system to play this. But it is just a really cool, really cool game. So you can play, I think it's D&D, and I think it's Pathfinder 2nd edition. Um, how they describe it: Ember is an unprecedented digital role-playing experience for Foundry Virtual Tabletop. Designed for a game master and a group of players, 3 to 5 players recommended, Ember is an imaginative and immersive open-world setting featuring an epic-length campaign, groundbreaking features, and game system designed for online play. Great for fans of Baldur's Gate 3, The Elder Scrolls Kingmaker, Pillars of Eternity, The Stormlight Archive, and Rise of the Ruined Lords. So this has been a Kickstarter campaign for a while, and it is now funded. And they have a bunch of stuff. So they've got an epic main story, is how they describe it, with years of gameplay, colossal open world of over 25,000 hexes, elegant character creation process, over 80 interactive and animated area maps, Vista system for visual storytelling, codex to chronicle your achievements, dynamic and cinematic audio engine, imaginative fantasy setting and sandbox, unique playable ancestries and cultures, solar, lunar, and seasonal calendar system, non-linear quests and consequential choices, and token maker with infinite variation. Okay, here it is here. So there's 2 ways to play Ember: using D&D 5th edition, or the innovative digital role-playing system Crucible, developed exclusively for Foundry. So Crucible is the new game system that Foundry is developing for the Ember system. And they've got a bunch of stuff. So the Glass Cannon network is actually playing in the Ember system. It is like the it's not properly the full out game. It's considered pre-alpha state, but it is playable, and they've been playing on Wednesdays this campaign, and it is beautiful. If any of you guys like a interactive interface, lots of bells and whistles, complicated lore, intricate lore, and beautiful maps, like, this is an amazing system. It plays like a video game. It plays exactly like a video game, but you have your characters. You have 100% characters you create as a dungeon master, you set the tone of things. You can modify the story, obviously, to match what you think is good for your group, but the campaign materials are there, the maps are there, all the notes and the system itself is tailored to make the job of the game master easier so that you can focus on what matters. So you can focus on what you're actually giving your players for content. And it is so cool. They have been working on this for 3 years, and there is just so much cool stuff about this system. Let me just try to share my screen. There we go. Let's zoom. There we go. All right. Okay, I'm gonna switch this up. All right. So, the Glass Cannon Network, like I said, is playing this. We'll just ignore the ads for a moment here while it loads up.
Dear Jammer, I missed you chasing me around the ice like an old Grinch. I don't remember you ever having the puck on your stick, so here's a gift to help with your handles. Warmest wishes, Juice.
So they are playing on this system. So let's flip over.
By asking you to introduce your character. Just a little bit about how you came about creating your character and the process that you followed. So why don't you pull up character creation and you can talk us through.
Yes, I will. Well, let me just first say what you would see, right? If we were looking at this as a movie, as a narrative, on this side of the fire, looking across at the storyteller, you see this short, relatively short, little over 5 feet, but
Tension was. Agrabah slowly lowers his arms, letting his final words linger in the quiet of the gently crackling campfire. He pauses and absorbs the rapt attention of the company, and with a smile says, "And now, friends, to rest, for tomorrow will be a long day's passage. If all goes well, we should make Helkas in 2 days' time, ahead of schedule." Agrabah steps back from the campfire and leaves you to your thoughts, to think about the tale, and to ask any questions you have or to engage with the other members of the caravan.
So right away, we can kind of see there's a theater of the mind kind of set up with these where you can modify where the characters are placed and that kind of stuff. But let's move on to like what some of these character sheets kind of look like.
almost like this blackened, sort of almost rocky-looking flesh that is cracked and pierced by what looks like fire within. That's like kind of coming out, and so there are a ton of new ancestries to like choose from on this. And when I was clicking through, Fez just jumped out to me because, well, first of all, the art is awesome. It's actually what looks like a woman in golden armor, but young, with these red eyes, very cool looking skin. And it says that the Fez were originally crafted by the ancient goddess Naur from the fires of Roggen to spread beauty and passion throughout Ember. So I just thought this.
All right, so we can kind of see there's a cool like ancestry ancestries available that have all of these different creatures that you can choose from. We won't focus too much on watching that gameplay, but I just wanted to give you guys a chance to kind of look at some of it. Let's see here. Yeah, they do a lot of chatting. Okay, here is a little bit of
network of narrow, ragged canyons and mossy crags that obscure the horizon.
Here's a little bit of the hex crawl itself.
The overhangs of the spectacular landscape are decorated with lush flora, from fruit-bearing wormwood trees overhead to sparse blankets of heart moss and snake vine in the gullies below. Travel here is likely slow-going and somewhat hazardous, but Agrabah knows what he's doing, and you follow his lead. This, for a little bit of meta-knowledge, is an example of encountering a new biome for the first time. So now that you have encountered the Verdant Paths biome, it appears in your codex. Oh, look at that. That's cool.
Oh, that's cool.
The caravan travels onwards, and you begin exploring the region further as Agrabah leads the way.
Oh my god, I'm watching oh, this is so cool, Andrew. As you're moving the caravan, the clock is ticking, like a video game,
Yeah.
It's like the travel time, and oh, that's so cool.
I also like going in the codex and looking at the Verdant Paths. There's just a small footnote at the bottom that gives you the date and time you first encountered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, as
in
someone...
the store.
All right, so there's a lot of cool things about this game system. There's 30 distinct biomes, which is kind of what they were talking about there. There's no loading, no separate other maps. We've got a variety of different things. And then you've got your codex, which is the accomplishments and discoveries. It automatically tracks everything, which is amazing. If you are like me and like everything to be automated, I think that this is really cool. That it's a living chronicle. You've got animated area maps. The cool thing too, they had a preview. I don't know if they have it on the Kickstarter page here, but they had a cool preview of like multiple different levels, and you could see like people like moving on different levels, but it was like blurry. So you were focusing on the levels below, and as the camera was moving, watching your character move, you could see like the different levels moving past in the foreground, and it was really neat. They've got cool like interactive traps and shifting dungeon layouts, moving vehicles, secret passageways, that kind of stuff. This one that they have here is like this little mirror puzzle where you go around and you adjust each mirror to get this light to move through the dungeon, which I thought was really cool. Character creation, it's got setting-specific choices of ancestry, culture, path, and attunement. I'm sure we'll learn a little bit more about this when it's actually properly released. Audio engine, they have this cinematic quality music and environmental ambiances. Really neat thing about this, because I think some of us, especially up-and-coming dungeon masters and artists and that kind of stuff, are concerned about the prevalence of AI in the world these days. And really cool thing is this system, they do not use AI for their music. It is 100% artists that have created these from scratch. Vistas. So that's the more theater of the mind scene kind of replacement. So they say replacing theater of the mind with theater of the screen. And you get to move your characters around this. You get to move your NPCs around this. It's really neat. And you can modify so much stuff about these vistas, adding and subtracting things from it to fit your needs. Vistas are fully integrated with the calendar cycles, with stunning changes in lighting effects and animation. So if you change your seasons, your trees are going to change. The ground will become more snowy, that kind of stuff. They've got an integrated calendar system with day and night and lunar cycles, which change their appearance and gameplay. Dynamic weather system, sun squalls, howling winds, lunar storms, or unusual phenomenon like pollen clouds. The moons have direct impact on gameplay. So certain gameplay events can only occur at specific lunar zenith, and some ultra rare events require a conjunction of multiple moons. This kind of stuff is so cool. I cannot highlight enough how awesome I find this. I really thrive on stuff that is detail orientated and interactive and automatic like this. I just think it's so badass. Story, so they've got 40 quest lines, each of which is a multi-session adventure that weave together into a legendary story unlike anything you have played before. So it's got lore, cosmology, history, geography, peoples. They've got this cosmos called the Heart of Ember, a mysterious living shard of energy at the core of the cosmos. The elemental moons, inner realms, the weave, and the abyss define the primordial forces. And then they've got this, which I think is really cool. Shattered moon, hollow moon, blasted moon, tempest moon, spirit moon, charred moon, and then the abyss, which is beyond the weave. They've got the deities all figured out. All of these ancestries, which are really cool. Human, which is whatever, but like Keth. Like, look at that. That's so cool. Thornling, Zeph. For a grim gameplay experience, play as a soulbound, a character which has stepped outside of Ember's natural cycle of souls. This heavy burden comes with unique gameplay traits, both advantageous and punishing. So that's, playing hard mode. There's so much cool stuff with this. They have this event system thing, which I think is, if I could make something like this, I would be so happy. You have branching choices and consequences, standalone events for one-off gameplay moments, encounters, or sessions. So the choices they make end up going into this flowchart, which is so cool. Vista Creator, so this is what I kind of said, where you can modify the scenes to your needs. there's a bunch of stuff that you can do. Customize locations. Assistant GM. So this is the cool thing. It helps the game master to focus on engaging with the roleplay. So it does calendar management, dynamic audio composition, quest flow visualization, and the Codex campaign journal are all examples of the assistant GM features. You also have Token Maker, which allows you to create a variety of NPCs. You can even show changes in equipment and posture with these tokens. And then they've got the pledge tiers, which they have met their, this is fully funded now. They have a whole bunch of stuff. I unfortunately could not afford to fund it myself, but I'm someone who's a big fan of Foundry, and the Ember system is working with the Foundry system to enhance everything that Foundry does and make it even better. And you can use this Ember system with your own gameplay. You don't have to just use what they have available to you. You can modify it for your D&D 5e campaigns. So they had a bunch of stretch goals. I think all of them were unlocked. Let me just make sure. Yeah, all of them were unlocked. Gathering and crafting system, upgradable stronghold, crucible beginner box, sunken city, which is a new map region, islands and archipelagios, mega dungeon. There's a few stretch goals, but they have met all of them, and it'll all be included in the full Ember game. And then they have the list of people who've worked on this for years. And I mean, these are all just brilliant people. And their team is absolutely committed to creating Ember without any use of generative AI, which is so cool. They've got some partners, and then obviously their socials. So some things about this. If you are interested in the Ember system, please check out Foundry VTT on Discord. Foundry is amazing, and the Discord is a great place to get any updates on Ember, any updates on Foundry systems, or the game systems modules. It's great for crafting your macros, helping with coding stuff. It's just an amazing Discord, and a wealth of knowledge exists there. So if you have gone into Foundry and would like some tips and tricks, check out the Discord. If you don't know anything about Foundry, you can still check out the Discord. But I will say, if you have never done anything in Foundry, it will be very confusing. I thought so I played in Foundry as a player in 2 different campaigns. I thought I knew a bunch about Foundry, and I did not even scratch the surface until I purchased my own license and became a game master for the Foundry system. There is so much more going on behind the scenes than you ever thought possible. But knowing what I do about the system, I have a great appreciation for it. I'm an avid fan of it. And this Ember game is a love project. It is a really, really cool system. And I really encourage you guys to look it up if you liked what you saw. I will say it is not for everyone. Not everyone's going to like the complicated nature of a Foundry. But for those of you who want to take the time and the effort to customize your system, to customize what you can do with your system, even if you want to get some more functionality, maybe you don't feel comfortable coding, that's okay. You don't have to be a coder to run a Foundry game. You can still achieve a great game, even with the base system, even with the base game, no modules whatsoever. You can achieve a whole lot with Foundry. The modules just enhance what is already there and customizes what's already there. So check out Ember if you haven't already. I think it's coming, yes, anticipated to begin December 2025. So probably about a year until we can see this coming out. But Glass Cannon Network is doing an actual play of the Ember system, and is you'll be able to get a sneak peek at all the different things that you can do with this from their live streams of that. All right. Well, we have had a good little stream here this morning, coming on about 2.5 hours here. My baby is now awake, so unfortunately I do have to sign off here. But I wanted to say thank you to everyone who joined the stream today. Thank you to everyone who has followed me over the course of the week, who has followed me on Twitch, on YouTube, through Blue Sky. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate your support, joining in on the conversations I've had. I do want to apologize after the fact about my lack of adherence to schedule this week. It's like I said, been a hard week with the baby, but I still do appreciate you all joining me when you can, regardless of my my sporadic schedule. And I hope that you guys like what you are seeing here. If you have ideas on what you would like me to talk about or what you would like to see in the future, please let me know. I am available through my various social medias, which you can see along the bottom here, bottom of your screen. I'm open to feedback. I'm open to suggestions. Within reason, I will try to oblige what I can. For now, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I will be back to see you all likely on Monday, barring any sort of changes to baby schedule or the potential to potentially team up with the Kindly Cleric on Monday, who I'll reach out to ask some more information of. But as always, keep an eye on my Blue Sky for your updates on my streaming schedule. And I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Take care for now, and see you next week.